こんにちは。羽生結弦です。
When you watch Johnny Weir, 39, skate, you can't help but feel that genius isn't everything. At the end of June, Johnny said goodbye to his fans at an ice show in Japan, performing his last skating before retiring from the pros. Yuzuru Hanyu, 28, who had admired him as a man of admiration since childhood, also stood on the ice full of emotion. Hanyu leans on the shoulder of Johnny Weir, who also has a flower on his head. In addition, Hanyu, who enters his apartment at night, and the muscular Johnny, he is kneeling at the ice rink and cannot help sobbing. Emotions break the dam and seep out. His tears continue to flow down his cheeks, and until he extended his hand to Yuzuru Hanyu, he could not stand up. At the final performance of Fantasy on Ice 2023, Weir, held at the Kobe World Memorial Hall on June 25, Hanyu's appearance was clearly different from the usual. This is the first time I've seen him cry so openly. I think he had a very strong feeling, said one spectator of figure skating. The person who looked directly at him with overflowing tears was the American Johnny Weir, hereinafter referred to as Johnny, who would retire from professional figure skating at the end of the day. He is one of the players that Hanyu mentions as the player he has always loved and looked up to. Johnny decided that he would never skate in front of other people again, so he chose the Weir Ice Show in Japan as his final performance, where Hanyu will appear in all performances. It was an honor for you, but at the same time, it must have been a very lonely moment, said the official representative of figure skating. At the end, Hanyu, who gave Johnny a large bouquet of white roses, knelt by the ice rink and cried. As Johnny slowly approaches Han, who is unable to get up, they exchange warm hugs. Hanyu waited at the rink for Johnny, who greeted the audience and left the rink, and hugged him tightly again. However, behind this impressive scene, an incident occurred that overshadowed the last beauty. There was an inappropriate expression in a Johnny Weir video the other day. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience caused to our fans. On the day of the final performance, Weir unexpectedly posted an apology on their official Twitter account. It all started on the 24th, the day before. The official Weir Twitter has a message from Johnny for the fans who are looking forward to this ice show. He was born and raised in America, and his native language is English. The video had a Japanese translation, but there seems to be a problem with the translation. Whatever you think, this is his Johnny Weir. He plays his last 2 shows here in Kobe. It seems like all of his tickets are sold out. I can't wait for the show to start. Fans immediately reacted to the so-called women's words, and protested on social media, etc. In response, Weir removed the tweet of the related video, and released a new video with a new translation inserted. Johnny announced that he was gay for a long time, and in 2011, he married a lawyer from Russia, divorced in 2014. However, his remarks were translated into monotonous feminine words. Few were uncomfortable with what was happening. There aren't as many words in English that directly express gender differences as there are in Japanese, so Johnny himself must have resisted. On the day of the final performance, Hanyu-san performed a surprise dance, perhaps as an apology for the noise, explained the official representative of figure skating. The details of the dance will be described later, but regarding the translation in question, the translator and literary critic Yukiko Kanosu said in the preface, "I think the translator tried to convey the image vividly. After that, indicate." She said, unlike other languages, word endings play an important role in Japanese, and they can convey the relationship between speaker and listener, their mutual positions, and the subtleties of their emotions. It is said that the female language in Japanese, which is different from how women actually speak, was developed mainly through the process of translating Western languages during the Meiji period. It has been pointed out that translations are moving forward, and there is a tendency to demand realism, but I think this has not really been noticed. Yuzuru Hanyu, who won 2 consecutive Olympic gold medals in men's figure skating, has influence on the top class of idols. The special edition of Al Japan August 2023 Yuzuru Hanyu, which went on sale on June 28, was decided to be re-released before the sale, and it is still missing. It can be pre-ordered on the official website, but is set to arrive after mid-July. Therefore, the resale at the flea market of the Mercury app is thriving, targeting fans who want to get their hands on it as soon as possible. Some of them are really sold. However, there were a number of criticisms on the internet, saying I really wish you would stop selling it, and I will never buy it from a reseller. It's a problem because of her huge popularity, but it's the same as top idols. A source from a women's magazine said, recently, when Johnny and other idols appear on the cover, sales often go up. There are many cases where sellers have hosted them on Mercari, but this time the case of Chania is also the case. Conspicuous cases of such resale. In addition, they say that this coincides with this incident. The person concerned said, in 2020, when Bigfoot Shota Watanabe first made an Anan women's magazine solo cover, it was reprinted for the first time in the magazine's history, but this time Hanyu. In the case of Miz, it was re-released before sale, so I think he's as popular as an idol. Soon it will be a year since he became a professional. Hanyu's hidden potential is truly limitless.